Hello, everyone. Happy 4th of July. Terry Hardin, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer here. Legendary Imagineer, let's say that clearly. How are you? Happy 4th of July coming up. Are you excited to get out? What are you going to be doing? What are you going to be doing? I will tell you right off the bat that I'm going to be visiting family, and many I haven't seen in over 15 months. So isn't that going to be fun? Which brings me to the announcement that Monday I will not be broadcasting. I will be visiting family, and I hope you will take this time to visit family or cuddle with that special someone on that observed 4th of July holiday, which is Monday. And I wish you all the best. But I wanted to do that news flash. I will probably post on Instagram and Facebook about that, but those of you watching on YouTube, just make a note in your calendar that the 5th I'm not here. And when I don't show up, don't be angry, okay? Don't be sad. Don't be angry. Welcome if you're brand new. I basically just share some thoughts, and you can ask me anything. You can post it in the comments over here or below with this, and any of those questions, I will do my best to answer them as much as possible, because it is the 4th of July weekend, and I'm sure you guys want to go and do some stuff. I will try to keep it a little bit shorter than I normally do, which could be anywhere from 1 hour to less than 3 hours. So, hi, how are you? How are things? Before we get started, I wanted to first let you guys know about my Patreon page. And I do this all the time. I talk about it. Terry's Tribe, where a group of people get together. Many of you all of you who have joined have tremendous, wonderful voices you've added. And last Wednesday, I want you to know that the tribe really stepped up. And I just want to do a beautiful shout out to them, because one of our members was feeling down and sad. As we open in the pandemic, things are shifting, aren't they? Maybe you don't have a job, or maybe you have a job, or maybe you're trying to decide, what is my next step, because the phone isn't ringing and my job isn't calling, or I'm changing jobs, or I've decided to make a change and I'm not sure, or I'm drawing, what do you think? Or I'm decided to try painting, what do you think? All of it stays in the tribe. It's a private Facebook page. It's also a private Zoom call every Wednesday. And this I'm speaking of is the Zoom call that I have with the tribe every Wednesday. So although I won't be broadcasting on Monday, Wednesday I will be having that Zoom call. So this is a great place for you to share your voice if you like to help others, if you like to brainstorm. It's kind of like a mastermind, but it's not as expensive as a mastermind because it's not a mastermind. It is a gathering of people. A lot of times we just share what we're doing in our lives, but every once in a while, when someone has a challenge or is trying something new, it's a great safe space for us to do that. So I would love to encourage you, if you want to join. Base level is $5 a month, and you get 2 Facebook Lives every Monday before I do this one, and then the Zoom call every Wednesday. Monday, of course, July 5th, I won't be broadcasting. But I did want to share that with you because everybody just really touched me deeply on Wednesday as they rallied around one of our tribe members and just lifted him up, and he was so happy. I mean, wasn't giddy, but shoulders kind of went down. Instead of having, a sad face and your shoulders are up and what am I going to do? How am I going to move forward? We all gave suggestions and asked questions and really were there for this person. So it's a great place to do that. And of course, I'm there too. But what I really want to point out about this Patreon page that was an added bonus, if you will, when I started it, was that all of you have so much to bring and you help me. In fact, I also go to the tribe because it's private and ask questions I would not necessarily ask here because this is public. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So the Ask Me Anything questions over here. very exciting. Just wanted to say congratulations. Also want to say thank you. I have to show you guys something. Got to say thank you. Let me go to, oh, before I do that, on the, no, I'm gonna go back to what I said. So just rewind. Okay. Sorry about that. Just want to say this was a really, really lovely gift that was sent to me by Keith Rogers and his lovely wife, Lori. And, I just thought this was so nice. This is their 4th of July package that they sent me, and she made all of these jams and jellies. She made the cookies that are in the basket, wrote me a lovely letter, and I was hoping for a little flag, and she gave me a little flag. I didn't tell her I wanted a little flag. I didn't tell him I wanted a little flag, but they were sweet to do that. And I want to just give a shout out to them. Thank you. That really warmed my heart when I saw it. I was so excited. So thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. But you can ask any question. I've done countless movies. I've worked with Jim Henson in 1982, and I have been a Jim Henson Muppeteer ever since 1982. Really coming into it in 89 with the show Dinosaurs and Muppet Mini Classics and Muppet 3D Theater. Also did Ghostbusters, Men in Black, and the Ghostbusters movie is they're coming out, isn't it? Pretty excited about that. Talk about many people that I've worked. I'm actually wearing a Muppet shirt today. See, yeah, thought that would be fun. I was taken in by my friend John E. Johnson, and he took me with a little bit. A few of us went in, and all of a sudden, I realized Muppet 3D Theater was still at Walt Disney's World's Magic Kingdom. And so I was so excited to see that that was available there. And I bought a shirt. I bought my shirt there. Because we don't have it here anymore. So I was so excited to see it there. I went and saw it and bought a shirt while I was there. So it was very lovely. So yeah, it was cool. Anyway, I've done that. I've also created a lot of wonderful little sculptures. And those sculptures, you can ask me about the pieces. You can ask me about private commissions. You can ask me about Ghostbusters. You can ask me about people like Liz Taylor, Michael Jackson, Sidney Poitier, Whoopi Goldberg. Gosh, tons. Just so many people Dolly Parton, tons and tons of people. So if you have a question, feel free to ask it over here. We'll do our best. And was there anything else I wanted to tell you? Yes, those of you who won the dinosaur prizes, I promised you I was going to mail them out and send you an email. My computer went crazy yesterday, so I will be sending that email out as soon as I get off here, and we'll get those prizes to you. So many apologies. Thank you for your patience. The pandemic has caused, and I have to say, the pandemic has caused some challenges for me because my ghosts, which I continue to deliver to the adopted parents of the hitchhiking ghosts, I continue to have challenges with that, and it tends to grab me and pull me in a direction, and when I come to, I'm completely bamboozled. Not to mention that my private life is a little nuts right now, and so I got a little bamboozled by that as well. So hang in there with me. I want you to know I am sending them to you. It's just about, they're all boxed up. I just have to get your addresses. So I will be doing that. Okay. And thank you once again for your patience on that. Phew, just so crazy, right? And then I love to do, I've mentioned to artists that one of the things you can do to get your name out there is to donate to a charity, a painting or a drawing or a sketch, and say, hey, how about I do this for you? And, you can do a trade. If I do this for you, can you give me a ticket to the gala? And a lot of times they're very happy to do that because then the artist is there. They can talk and promote. So people will sign up. Ooh, I like that person, and do the silent auction or do the big auction, whatever, however it turns out to be. It's quite exciting. Yeah. So, yep. So anyway, lots going on. The Chuck Jones Center for Creativity is getting ready for their red dot auction, and I have to have a painting ready for them by July 31st. So that's on the agenda. And then of course there's obligations to the government that one has if they do make sales like the ghosts. So there's a lot of stuff. So thank you for your patience is what I'm trying to say. All right. Anything else I wanted to say to you? Yes, the topic. Silly me. We're 10 minutes in and I didn't talk about the topic. The topic is Disneyland. What would you do? Because right now, as you know, Disneyland is taking appointments only. That's not so horrible, really, is it? But the cost to have the ticket for a 2-part pass or the cost per one park is up there, isn't it? And as we know, not everybody can afford that, can they? So with the passes being abolished, here's my question to you. What are you going to do if it turns out that you can't go to Disneyland again? How are you going to feel? And that was the question and the topic I kind of wanted to ask you guys, and I'd love your opinion on it too. So although you can ask me anything, I'm going to put a question to you as well, and I'd love for you to chat with me about it. One of the things I want to point out, and I will have to say this came from my dear friend Stephanie, who is part of Terry's tribe. She pointed out that, you know, what many have come to realize, and I think she's very, very spot on, is that it's not the park, it's the people. And if you have a lot of people with Disney in their hearts, which right here is a perfect example of everyone that we have, you create gatherings in other places and you still have that Disney excitement. No, it's not riding on the rides and getting a chance to check out some of the new stuff at Disney, but you can keep that joy alive and then choose when you're going to go to Disneyland. Because you know, when you were a pass holder, you would go for a meal or you'd go for shopping or you'd grab a quick visit with your friends. You know, hey, I'm going to be at Disney. Are you going to be at Disney? Can we connect? And you'd hop in your car because you were a pass holder and you'd go. You wouldn't necessarily stay the entire day. You would simply get with your people, maybe have a bite of lunch, maybe have something to drink, and then be on your way, wouldn't you? But now when you're investing 135, 175, whatever those dollar amounts are, you kind of feel obligated to stay the whole day. Especially when you also have made an appointment on top of that. You're not really saying, I'm not going to pay $100. I'm not going to pay a big amount, over $100. Let's just leave it at that. And go in and have a drink and leave. And this is what many people have said. And this is why my stance has been, I have always gone to the birthday on July 17th. Always. Never miss it, except for one time when I had a job and was out of town and couldn't be at Disneyland for that job. Because of that job. Sorry. I should have another drink of water, tea. But this year I'm not going to be there. And one of the reasons is because Disney made it very clear they're going to create appointments. And because I live so close and because I create Disney here in my realm here in my office, I can have that Disney feeling and excitement because I create Disney here every single day or every other day maybe. But the point is I don't want to fill a spot that someone who really needs to go to Disneyland can have for the birthday. Some people, this is a tradition with them, and they would be very sad if they couldn't go. And I don't want to fill that spot because Disney is regulating how many people will go into Disney, especially for the birthday. So I will step aside because I want all of you who need to go, if you want to go, and I want every opportunity for you to go. So that's why I'm going to live vicariously through you on July 17th. And I seriously hope that you will share. I know you will. That you'll share on social media so that I can live, and tag me so that I can live vicariously through you, which will be fun. It'll be fun to do it this way this year. So I look forward to it. And I'm very excited for you if that's what you have in mind and that's what you're thinking of doing. But it was pointed out that there are other places you can go, aren't there, that you can gather with your friends. Many have said Knott's Berry Farm is off the chain, and they go to Knott's Berry Farm. The pass there is about $100, and you get to go. I don't know the criteria of it. You'd have to check it out. But I know that I love their boysenberry, anything they create. They're famous for it. And I love their chicken. So I would love to go there. I don't know if I'll get a pass, but I would love to go there. I'm not much of a rider. I'm more of a visitor. And that's what I did with my pass for Disney, is it allowed me to jump in and go to Disney anytime and visit with all of you. If you had something to sign, if you just wanted to chat, you were going to be at the park, we share a dessert or a coffee or a lunch or something, I would drive up and see you. I can't do that now at $100+ a pop. You know, I would pop in and then you guys would go on your merry way and I go home. So I have to agree with what many have said. It may have to be, we may have to tweak some changes a little bit. Now the passes are coming, but as you've all told me, and as I have read myself, Disney has mentioned less perks, more money. So when it finally drops what kind of passes we can get, we may say to ourselves, it's not in our budget. So we have to be prepared for that. So you might just do a gathering at the Earl of Sandwich in downtown Disney. You might pop over to a favorite store around downtown Disney, or gather and enjoy yourselves at a restaurant of your choice, because it really is, I have to agree with my dear friend Stephanie, that it really is the people, and you're going to have that Disney flair no matter where it is. You know, I've mentioned before, I think this is my 4th Chalk Walk year with my Chalk Walk team, and we all through the pandemic were playing bingo. And it was not at Disneyland Park. We were all together virtually, and the Disney stuff flew. The Disney joy still flew. And also, I should mention that the Disneyana Fan Club, which is a great, amazing group of people, many of you are on here, has announced they are going to have a live event in September. I think it is I wanted to say it was September 11th and 12th, but let me just really do something truly amazing and look. Yes, I like paper. Did I mention to you guys that I like to do paper? I'll show you why in a minute. Yes, the 11th and 12th. So on the 11th, the Disneyana Fan Club is talking about having a special event with Kevin and Jody, those masterful artists. I've worked with them on a couple of projects and absolutely love it. And then on the 12th, it's the show and sale. So I will be at the show and sale. I like paper because paper allows me to look at a glance at my calendar, which looks like this. Basically, I can show people very quickly that I'm busy. Look, I'm busy. Look at my calendar. That's June. So July is a little less crazy, but that's kind of the idea. There we go. Okay, so let's go to your questions now. Happy 4th of July. Share with me maybe what you're doing if you want. You know, you don't have to ask a question, but you can comment on just about anything. Whatever is floating your boat at the time. You know, you want to talk about the heat and the humidity and how you don't have an air conditioner and what the heck is going on with our weather? Feel free. You know, I'm here. I'm here to help and here to make you feel joyful. If you want to hear a story, or if you don't, you're probably going to hear one anyway. So let's get cracking. Okay, here we go. There we go. Nate Singleton. Nate is part of the tribe. Happy 4th. I just realized those are fireworks. Thank you, Nate. Happy 4th of July, Stephanie. And Stephanie's ears were burning, so of course she had to come and pop in here. But Stephanie is the one that got me thinking about today's broadcast, because she has realized herself as well that, in fact, she's the one who kind of pointed out, we really realized it was the people. And we just created our own Disney joy. And Disney may find a lot more people are doing that. Will they care? Hard to say, right? Hard to say. Deja vu. Yes, indeed, Leo. Great to have you. Nate says, if you're not yet a member of the tribe, you are definitely missing out on a ton of magic and magical people. It's so true. And it's not to push you guys. It's just, please go over and consider it, because it's always special moments. I'm just going to say, it's just really, it's done a lot for me. And I set it up with maybe just having a place for us to meet and talk Disney. And then all of a sudden I was rewarded so much more. And that's what usually happens when you bring generous people together, like-minded, giving people that want to just help together. It's just words just don't, more than tongue can tell. Words just don't describe it. So yes, Nate, I agree with you. Absolutely. Jacob Gardner, hey, I first found out about you on the Defunctland podcast you did in 2002. That was a great podcast, wasn't it? That was so much fun. The Country Bears. And I was just wondering, did any bloopers or goof ups happen on the set? Oh my goodness, yes. Country Bears. I don't know if there were ever any goof ups that happened. Let me think about it. I'm sure there were some that happened, goof ups that happened on the set, but I will tell you that one of the things we had to do for the Country Bears was, as you know, Jacob, the Country Bears was a Disney and a Henson production kind of together, correct? And so Disney was very strong in saying that they wanted to pre-record all the dialogue of the bears. And we as puppeteers, this is a real serious no-no. You don't do that. You allow us to do first a scratch track, which is we all use our voices because it gives us freedom to do our craft. And with puppeteers, you could eliminate the magical moments that come from a good team working together. Things evolve. Comedy ensues, if I can say it, because we are very strong improv. We're very strong. Puppeteers are just wacky. And so things blossom from it that just, okay, it wasn't a Country Bears incident, but I also do the Foster Farms chickens. And there is a commercial with Foster Farms West Coast, but of Foster Farms where the chickens think they are taking a flight to California to become Foster Farms chickens, and they get rerouted into a place that's freezing cold. And the line from the passenger chicken, which is me, is "I'm freezing my giblets off." That came from me. That was not written. That just popped out. It just, in the moment, popped out. They used it. Okay? It was not pre-written, wasn't in the script, anything. And this is what happens with puppeteers. When we get on a roll, we'll stick to the script as best as possible, but every once in a while, you get some serious comedy gold. You also know that in Dinosaurs, so I'm still trying to think about, Jacob, about Country Bears, but in the television show Dinosaurs, which went just about 5 years, I talked with Bill Beretta, who plays Earl, and there was a sequence where he came in as Earl, "Honey, I'm Home," which you all know about. But he did this, something happened. He was supposed to dance or something, and he lost his balance in this full dinosaur suit. And he tumbled back, and he tumbled forward, and he tumbled to the right, and he tumbled to the left. But we all stayed in character. We did not break character. We saw he was stumbling and kind of doing a lot of visual bumbling around, if you will. But he recovered. And once he recovered and walked a little bit, we cut. Okay? And that ended up being used because it was so beautifully funny. And Bill Beretta just rolled with it. So this is one of the things that we had to do for the Country Bears. We had to convince Disney pre-recording the voices they were going to use was not in their best interest. So they weren't sure because, in animation, a lot of times they record the voices of the animation first, and then the animators animate to it. In today's world, it may be a push me pull you. The animators animate a sequence so that the voice actor can get a feel of the character, and then they record the rest, and then the animators animate to it. Yes? But in puppetry, it's a bit different. Having that ability, we're always together. We're always working as a team together, and magic can really, you just don't know. So to pre-record it would have stifled us, would have cuffed us, and the movie wouldn't have been as fun as it turned out to be. So long story short, we did it with Team Tennessee, the sequence where Tennessee is interviewing the couple. He becomes a marriage counselor. And that whole crying bit was done before we even shot by Jody and Julie. And it was so spectacular. And what she did, we said to Disney, and this is the brilliance of the Henson Company, Brian suggested we do it both ways. Disney, you record the voices, we'll do it with the voices. We promise as puppeteers to give it everything we got. We're not going to make the pre-record sound terrible, but we'll give you everything we got because we know you want us to do the scratch track first. So that's what we did. And it was two puppeteers, we being all of us rallying around Julie and Jody as Tennessee, okay? But it was Julie and Jody who actually did that sequence together. And first they did it with the voiceovers pre-read. And they gave it everything they had because we are artists of integrity, especially with the Henson group. But what happened was when left to do it on their own, Julianne and Jody did what you saw on camera, that because we know our instrument and we know our tools. Okay. It's not that voiceover people don't know their tools. They did the best that they could with their voice. But we know our audio animatronic puppets. We have been practicing and we had been working with them. So Julianne knew how far she could push it, and Jody too. And they just blew the doors off, and Disney had to agree that this was the situation, that this was a good idea, because it was, there was no comparison. There was no comparison to how dynamic and beautiful that sequence was. And in the case of Trixie in Tennessee, where we sang the song, they had pre-planned, not Disney, but the script had pre-planned that for that song that Tennessee and Trixie would sing, and that during the song, because they believed, not Henson, but Disney believed that in order to make that sequence work, they would have to do a running in the field montage with the characters to cover, because they felt that the two bears singing were not going to be compelling enough to keep you centered and watching it on the screen. So again, Julianne and Jody, myself and my dear friend Denise, who was in Trixie, made a pact as puppeteers to emote and to make it so deep and heartfelt and compelling, they would not shoot that running through the field. And those of you who have seen the movie know they did not shoot it. And that is because as puppeteers, we wanted to prove Disney incorrect. Puppets can be very, very compelling, as you know. Puppets can be very emotional and can pull from you your emotions as well. And we did it in there. In fact, the people who did the singing voices for Tennessee and Trixie, as you know, were Bonnie Raitt and Hensley from the Eagles, Don Hensley from the Eagles. And forgive me, music is not my jam. Forgive me, my friend. But they said they couldn't believe it when they watched us perform, and they watched us perform live, because they wanted to be there if they wanted to, if they were going to put the voices in live or something. But we did work to pre-record, but the fact is they were completely just so blown away. And Christopher Walken, who's one of my favorite actors of all time, and I got to work with him, actually came around the back and congratulated us all on, he said it really got him, and the director too. Peter Hastings. They all were just so blown away that we were able to do it. Of course, this is our job. This is what we do. Let us do our job. So thank you, Disney, for letting us do our job. But although there weren't a lot of bloopers, there were some. Okay, like when I was doing Big Al, it was not on camera, but when I was performing Big Al, the mechanism that made him talk and move versus the fur on top, he was a very heavy character. His head caught on fire. So not funny, but something that happened and delayed his filming, Big Al's filming. And then one of the funniest bits that unfortunately was cut out of the film was Big Al singing Blood on the Saddle. Yeah, we actually did that. And it was great. It was really good. Why Disney decided to cut it out of the film when that's what y'all really wanted to see, who knows? But we did do it. We did do it. So I don't think there were any real, I mean, if you asked other bears, they might say there was a blooper, but I don't recall one off the top of my head. But those are a few things. I hope that helps, Jacob. I hope that helps. And see, you got some stories out of me. Anyway, silly me, right? Yep. Hello, happy 4th of July. How are you, Catherine Taylor? Good to see you. Happy 4th. And Walt knew that the guests were part of the equation. Yes, indeed, Leo, indeed. But as we're finding out, in some cases, that's not enough, is it? Many of you hope that once Disney has recouped some of the losses of the pandemic, that the prices will come down. And I'm not saying that they won't, but that's kind of that's a long shot. Let me say that. That's a long shot. It's possible, but it's a long shot. But anything is possible. We must believe, because I think that, one person said to me the other day when I was talking on the phone that less people generates more funds. So if you can, you make the passes higher, the people will purchase them. That means less people, and also regulates. And it was getting full and overrun. So I don't know what the goal for Disney is actually going to be. Let me just check this a minute. My cousin is supposed to be stopping by and visiting me. And for some reason, can I come by when I go home about 2? Yes, that's even better. Yes, there we go. Okay, so he's not dropping by. Yay, now I don't have to look at the phone anymore. I made myself a German chocolate cake for my birthday. It's my favorite cake. And my husband was very sad. He said, "Why? I'm so sorry you have to make your own cake." But I'm very particular. Have you ever been someone who likes a particular food and it's got to be made a certain way, or it's blech? So this is German chocolate cake for me. It has to be the German chocolate cake. And I don't mind if a German chocolate cake mix, okay? So German chocolate cake mix, Duncan Hines, whatever, right? But it's a mix, but then you get the coconut frosting, okay? Here's the key. 8-inch round of cake, a layer of the coconut frosting between the two 8-inch round cake. And then on top, you put the frosting, but only on the top, not the sides. Don't add chocolate. Don't add sprinkles. Don't get creative. You know how much I love creativity. Not with this cake. And the reason is because when you cut into the cake and you eat the very sweet coconut frosting with the taste of the German chocolate, the balance is the flavor balance. And if you have too much of that coconut frosting, the balance is thrown off and it doesn't taste right. So I had to make it myself. But it was a whole 8-inch round, 2-layer cake. So my father loves sweets and my cousin loves German chocolate cake. So I have for them, I cut the cake up so that we all shared, because I'm not going to eat that whole cake. That would be, I have some friends who said I would. Okay. But I told them I was more than happy to share it around with people because, and everybody's really excited because a lot of the German chocolate, chocolate cake connoisseurs, that's exactly the way we like it because of the flavor balance. Another thing I can tell you about is the chocolate malt or chocolate shake. Chocolate malt or chocolate shake, for me, has to be made with vanilla ice cream and chocolate syrup, or it doesn't exist. If you put chocolate ice cream in there, thanks for playing. That's not the way you make a chocolate shake. So you can see how, and I'm not saying about you, I'm saying me. Do you have something that you love to eat, but if they tweak it a little bit, you're like, nah, it doesn't taste right. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's funny. It's funny. I love fish, especially oysters. And the oyster growers will tell you probably should eat them in months that don't have the letter R in them. Thank goodness I was born in June. Whoop, whoop. So I love oysters, but they'll give me the tartar sauce. They'll give me the red hot sauce. They'll give me all these concoctions, soy sauce, blah, blah, blah. All I need is lemon. The oyster and the lemon, done. Don't even need to waste your time. Don't even bring the other stuff. I won't eat it. Now, some chefs have done some really great alterations on oysters that I've absolutely loved. When I was in Cape Cod, the chef made them for me. They had a dab of sour cream and caviar. Woohoo! Yeah, baby. Really delicious. Really, really great. So oysters, I'm a little more flexible, but not with my shake of my cake. Not with my shake of my cake. So feel free to tell me if there's something like that, like a rib, if you're cooking ribs or you're grilling for 4th of July, is there something that has to be in the menu? Honestly, what it makes me think of? Thanksgiving. Okay, I used to think I was pretty flexible with the Thanksgiving dinner, laid back, you can pretty much do what you want. And then somebody decided not to serve turkey at Thanksgiving. They did stuffed tomatoes. I like stuffed tomatoes, just not at Thanksgiving. And then for the pie, they did a chocolate cream pie instead of pumpkin. I have to tell you that I was at the dinner and ate the chocolate cream pie, but it didn't end for me. Thanksgiving was not complete until I had pumpkin pie or sweet potato pie. Either one of those are fine. But chocolate cream, thanks for playing, it didn't work. And I remember I was with my friend and we were both like tweaking, we were like, driving home twitching. Why isn't Thanksgiving complete? Why isn't And we went and had pumpkin pie. We're like, It's funny with our traditions, isn't it? With my father at Thanksgiving, he has to have the jellied cranberry sauce, not the cranberry sauce, but the one you cut, the one that comes out of the can hole, and you slice it and eat it. My dad and I are together on that as well. So it's just interesting, right? So back to my cake, and my cousin kind of made me digress, but that's what happens here. If you like my freeway brain that goes this way and that way, and you find me entertaining or your questions are getting answered and you like that, please consider subscribing because it's more where that came from. And I also invite you to go to terryhardin.com and sign up for things like that. I am in progress. My website is in progress, but feel free to go to terryhardin.com, click on the online store, see what I've got there if you're so inclined for a gift for someone special, especially if it's Disney-based. And also, when you do that, I have sketches that you can download as a thank you for putting in your email. And don't worry about spamming. You can see how I am about spamming. You'll be lucky if you get any kind of a letter because of my life. But I promise you're on the list. And when something big happens, I'll write to you. Okay? So terryhardin.com, go there and sign up. If you are so inclined, I would appreciate it. Okay. Hello, Deanna. Good to see you. Angie, very important date. Hello, Angie. I was wondering where you were, sweetheart. Good to see you. Good to see you. My 4th of July plans are, first of all, my family day is Sunday. And Monday, I won't be broadcasting because the family is getting together for the first time in 15 months. And get ready for it, guys. We're going to hug. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. I was a person before the pandemic who hugged just about everybody I came in contact with. It was a natural thing because I love people. And I think even if you're not a hugger, you deserve a hug. Some people, would go like this and I wouldn't do it. But I remember when I was at an event and I had a very good friend who didn't hug. And then we started, as we got closer, we started to hug, and she became a hugger, and she couldn't believe how she had lived without hugging people. Now we have to be a little more cautious with the Me Too movement. I find a lot of men say, "May I?" And I appreciate that, but I always said yes. So with the pandemic, it's been a little challenging because my hugometer is broken. It doesn't work. And so when someone says, "I want to hug," like my son did last night or yesterday at a breakfast, "I'm going to hug you," I was like, it was really strange and weird. So if you find it being really strange and weird, practice makes perfect, right? So I'm really excited to see my family on Monday. So I won't be broadcasting, but I am going to be hugging my family. Oh, it's kind of exciting, isn't it? It's just weird. It's just weird, though. It's weird. So those are my plans, Angie. Thank you for asking. I won't be going on the 17th this year either. Too expensive. There's Stephanie's. Now, remember I said at the beginning of this broadcast, Stephanie Fix was the one who kind of brought this to my attention. I want to thank her. Most of the time when we're talking about the Patreon page, the stuff stays there. But I thought Stephanie brought such a compelling question that I wanted to ask you. What would you do if it was too expensive and you weren't going to go? What if this becomes the norm, guys, and Disneyland is not as attainable as it was before the pandemic? Do you have a fallback position? And Stephanie and I suggest you realize it's the people, not the place. And you keep those relationships together. You just keep getting together and share the joy of Disney. And if you want to be near Disney, you can do it at Downtown Disney, which is still free to walk around. Yeah. So you have a good point, Stephanie, and thank you for bringing that up. That's one of the things I love about the tribe. Shelby says, "Hello, Cherry. I know this might seem strange to ask, but since they announced that they are making a new Tower of Terror movie, what would you like to see in it?" Well, if it's a Tower of Terror movie, I would like to see Rod Serling and the voice be by Mark Silverman, because I miss the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. The Guardians of the Galaxy is fine. Okay. If you love Guardians of the Galaxy, which I do, especially whenever Rocket gets on the screen. I named my dog after Rocket. I just miss walking through the Tower of Terror. I never rode it because I helped design it and I don't like falling. But I walked the queue often and then went out the chicken exit and waited for my friends. Yeah, I actually showed them special things during the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. And it was great. Like I was walking through with a friend to hear Mark Silverman do the Rod Serling voice. He's a very talented voiceover person. And I miss him doing it. So in the movie, I'd like to see his voice in the movie. And my voice in the movie. I mean, let's go for broke. I'd like them to let me do a voice for the movie as well. What would I like to see visually in it? I don't know if they would get the rights to Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, so I don't know if it would be a bite, like a snippet, or what would it actually be? Because right now it's Guardians of the Galaxy Tower. That's, intellectual property. And is that really going to be something we want to see on film? Because we have Guardians of the Galaxy sort of already. But maybe their version of the Twilight Zone could be cool. And then we'll have Mark's voice, Rod Serling's voice. I think that would be fun. Sort of mysterious, scary, haunted-y, but in a different way. I think I would like to have like a supernatural feel. Like Twilight Zone tended to give you, the show did. The show always gave you that sort of weird, supernatural, could this happen? What if this happened sort of thing? And it would be nice to see that in a film. I think that's what I'd like to see. Yeah, I think it's a great question, Shelby. Thank you for asking it. What would you like to see, Shelby? Stephanie Knotts has tons of entertainment, food for those of us who don't do the crazy rides. And again, this was Stephanie making this suggestion. I always went to Knott's Berry Farm at least once a year for their 5K. with my friends. I would meet up with my friends and we do the 5K. And at the end of the 5K was boysenberry, a la mode, pie. And you would say this as you were walking. You know, if you saw people that were really, you know, trudging along, really tired, you know, you would just dance and say boysenberry, a la mode, boysenberry, a la mode. And you got a cool Snoopy medal on top of that. You got this beautiful boysenberry pie at the end of the race. And then if you were really on your game, you popped over to get that delicious chicken dinner, which is unbeatable, in my opinion. So there's lots of cool stuff. In fact, Stephanie pointed out, and many other people pointed out, that they have boysenberry cocktails, and they've kind of boysenberried out with all kinds of things, popsicles and all kinds of cool stuff in their Taste of Knott's, their Knott's food festival. And it was Knott's Berry Farm who first released here in California a food festival. And it was so successful that many other amusement parks or theme parks, let's say that, theme parks followed suit. Disney followed suit, and so did Universal, but Knott's was first. So Stephanie is absolutely correct. It looks like a fun place to do, even if you don't want to ride the rides. And there's always Snoopy. And who doesn't like Snoopy? I mean, personally, don't tell me if you don't like Snoopy. I don't want to hear it. Where can we find your work at Walt Disney World? Walt Disney World, you can find my work as long as it stays by going to Splash Mountain and sitting in the boat. So you climb into the boat at Splash Mountain. That's all my stuff. That's all my stuff. Now, there may be Brer Fox there too. I did a Brer Fox to audition for my Imagineering days. I had to do a Brer Fox head to audition, and my Brer Fox is in California, and there's a possibility it could be in Walt Disney World, but I haven't really ridden Splash in a while, so I can't tell you if it's there, but I know the boat's there, and the rabbit on the front, right? The little rabbit on the front. So let me just see if I can show it to you. Wait, boom, boom, there we go. Let's go here first. Let's see if I can show it to you. Here it is. This is the Splash Mountain boat, Florida. So I did the boat, the carvings on the boat. I did not design the boat. That was done by George. But I designed the textures on the boat and working with the two seats. I actually tried to put a rope to tie the two logs together, but Disney decided that these logs fuse themselves together in a fanciful way, and that's why they are stuck together in a double situation. Do you buy it? I don't know, but that's the way I sculpted it. And then the rabbit on the front that's riding and looking so happy, that's him. That's Florida. He also can be seen in Japan. I got him, and I'm trying to see, do I have my clay in here? It doesn't look like my clay's in here, which is totally weird. Let me go back to this and see if in another one the clay is there, because it's like, why isn't clay on there? There we go. So, so here's actually the clay sculpture of him that you can see. So the front and the side of his happy little face. So I originally made him with his hands on the edge in more of a powerful pose like this, but they were afraid when the boats bumped that his arms would snap off, and no one wants to see a broken rabbit on the front of the boat. So that is the main place you can see my work in Walt Disney World. And then sometimes in the gallery, one of my sculptures will make its way to the gallery for sale. But it's been a while since my sculptures have made it there. Will they soon appear again? No one would really know. You know, one of the things about Disney people in power is the door can be a bit revolving. And so, and sculpturally, sometimes they would rather do the two-dimensional stuff because it's easier to store and sell than the three-dimensional stuff, which of course a sculpture or figurine is going to be more bulky. So sometimes they stick with people who have huge licensing contracts like Jim Shore, and that's kind of the way they go. So the unique kind of cosmopolitan sculptors like myself, it's kind of, you know, we're here, then we're not, then we're here, then we're not. So basically you can go to my website, click on online store, and you can see what I have available. But that's kind of the way it works. But yes, you can go and get on the boat. Look at the boat. The entire boat texture was designed by myself. And you can actually, if I have it here, which it doesn't look like I do, have me sculpting oh, here we go. Yes. Okay, so let me just show you a couple other things. Here is the concept I did with the amazing Don Carson, who came up with the idea, approached me and said, so you see how his eyes are closed, his ears are back, he's like much more into the ride. Hands here, but they were afraid the boat would bump and snap his little hands off. So they didn't want that. But here I am with that great, where do you go look first? The girl with the glowing hair. That's me again. Special haircut. And then this is Tokyo visiting us. Don Carson standing next to me, the wonderful Don Carson. And then all of us as I supervise people sculpting on this boat, but I am designing the texture of the boat while they discuss the front, which I did first. And that's and this is at Imagineering in the Maple Building, standing for Mary Poppins. I don't know that they call it that still today, but when I was there, that's what they called it, the Maple Building. I hope that helps you, Jacob. Thank you for that question. DFC event in September 11th and 12th in Anaheim. Exactly. So on September 11th, there's supposed to be an event that will be announced. So Disney and a Fan Club, Google it. They have a wonderful Facebook page and ask to follow it. And you will get your updates from the Disney and a Fan Club. You will also get them from me because I will definitely be there the 12th. I'm not sure about the 11th. I still need to connect with them to have some chats, okay? But Kevin and Jody are doing they're going to have a special thing, and I think it'd be great to hear what they have to say. They're lovely people. And I met Kevin and Jody while doing some product for the Disney.com store when Kevin and Jody worked at Disney and oversaw artists who made things for the Disney.com store. Boy, is that a mouthful. And I did this before. Let me just go back to my albums. Go back to this one and go to, I can show it to you as soon as I find the little sucker. There he is. So here he is. Here is the project I did with being oversaw by Kevin and Jody. This is a Harmony Kingdom box by Disney, which is Mickey at his desk. And Mickey and the top of the desk open up and there's a little mouse inside. So that's what I worked with Kevin and Jody on, and it was a real pleasure and a lot of fun. We got along together very well. So as Stephanie said, this event is going to be very fun, and if I can be a part of the 11th, I'm going to see if I can. And but I definitely will be there on the 12th for the show and sale. So if you want to come and see, hold, touch a lot of the stuff that I have shown you, the box won't be there because I sold out of those, as did the store. It's been a while, but you'll be able to see. You'll be able. Let me just. You'll be able to see my set of ghosts. These will be there for sure. You can actually experience them, look at them. You will have to pre-order them, but if you want them, there's a place you can go and see them if you're somebody who wants to hold, touch, yeah. Okay. So, and there will be other stuff there too. So, and me, doing Lord knows what. I'll be so excited to see you all. I may just be going the whole day, but really exciting. So yes, as Stephanie says, consider the Disney and a Fan Club. Also consider being a member. They are a great group of people and so much fun and a great way to celebrate Disney outside of Disney. And this will be you guys will love this. Lots of fun stuff to purchase. Lots of people who know a lot about Disney. And it's just fun. It's just all the way around the board, cross fun, just joyful, fun, exciting. So I hope you will join us there. Jacob, I'm going in August, birthday month. Oh, happy birthday early, Jacob. When is your birthday? My sister's is August 1st. That's a great time to go. It will be warm. She says optimistically, it could even be hot. So I hope you have a good time. It's a great time to go. It's a great time to go. Leo says, Terry, if you're meeting people in any professional capacity, your pass, whatever the cost, should be tax deductible. And you're right, Leo, it is. But we don't have passes right now, do we? So we don't know. But not everybody can be like me, can they? So I had to say what Stephanie says, which is exactly correct. That, you know, if you're not as fortunate as I am to be able to deduct your pass, then I may be meeting you in another venue, won't I? To get to see you and connect with you. Yeah. And I hope that, you know, I am going to get a pass. I'm working on it, but I have to see what that's going to be. Don't we all? We're all like with bated breath going, they did say they're going to release the pass system in 2021. And if you hear of it before me, which you always do out there, please tag me and let me know, okay? Or send me a quick message or email and update me. People like Leo, Stephanie, you guys are usually so fast, but all y'all out there get it before. You tend to be faster than me. I remember when I designed pieces for Disney, I actually designed some artwork for Disney and was sold at Disney. So my Jewels of the Park sold, and then I did some Haunted Mansion stuff, and I did some sculptures of Pirates of the Caribbean. Very hard to find because people don't usually sell those. But while I was doing that, many of you, Disney would call me on the carpet and say, the fans are already talking about your pirate stuff. We asked you not to release it. I said, I didn't release it. You know, these fans know. Y'all know. You like read my mind, or who knows how it happens. But you seem to know what I'm going to do next when I was designing for Disney. So I said, you know, relax. They're not going to, it's not going to hurt anything. It just does something beneficial. But trust me, I did not release it because I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing, right? So, but you guys were all over it. Over and over. I was always amazed. So please share with me should you hear something about the passes when you do. Hello, Grim Grinning Tracy. Happy 4th of July. Joseph writes, good morning. I recall Bob Chapek making a statement that Disney AP holders in general don't spend as much as regular ticket holders. Yes, I heard that too, which is the main reason they want to phase out the AP. Okay, that's what they say, Joseph, all right? But I happen to know that back during the 50th anniversary, and all you APs out there that were APs, correct me if I'm wrong, they spent a truckload, okay? They spent a lot of money whenever they went to Disneyland. One of the challenges they have now is that the Disney product is not up to par. Would you agree? And AP people don't just buy to buy. I mean, some of you may just buy to buy, but I don't think so. You are more discerning about what you're going to buy. For one thing, here in Anaheim, Disneyland people who collect, I have discovered your stuff needs to be on model. The artwork needs to be on model, which means it needs to look like the characters you have grown to know and love. Mickey Mouse cannot be splashed full of psychedelic colors and called a sculpture. Here, it doesn't sell as well. I'm not saying it doesn't sell, because in Florida, those things sell like quick. But we are two different parks, two different mindsets. And in Disneyland, people like the stuff to be truer to the actual characters. As a sculptor, I am saying this because that is the discipline I must have in order to have my stuff sell at Disney. And that's what they kept an eye on me for, because they knew if I diverted from the actual design of these characters without keeping the trueness to their personalities and to their model, that it wouldn't sell. So this is so important. And I just don't, I think AP pass holders, annual pass holders weren't buying because the stuff was not good. Sorry, but it's the truth. And I'll always tell the truth. It was not good quality stuff, which is one of the reasons I keep sculpting, because I want you guys to have heirloom quality stuff. Yeah, you don't want stuff that looks like it's a Chinese garage sale. You want stuff that looks like they really thought it out for you. I think this is one of the reasons people are so excited about Kevin and Jody, because Kevin and Jody do, unless their hands are, I can't speak for them. You know, you guys say you're in touch with them more than me, I'm sure. that they want to make it so that you have something that's heirloom quality, that's cool, that's nice. I heard they designed the latest D23 collection that you get if you're at a certain level, the VIP level of D23. And I looked at you postings and it looks very nice. It looks beautiful. So honestly, I think that honestly, I don't think the quality has been at the park. I mean, how many mugs do you really need, right? Yeah. So this is what I feel is the case. I do not feel, I mean, him saying this, he can't say, Bob cannot say, the AP pass holders don't spend much because our stuff is crap. Sorry, but yeah, I disagree. I think annual pass holders are not only buy it, but they'll buy it in triplicate if they love it. Case in point, the popcorn bucket of the little Martian from Toy Story sold out. Pass holders, got to get an extra one or something. They did that fast. So it's not that. Okay. I mean, that's what he says it is. Sorry, Bob, I'm disagreeing with you is basically what Terry is saying. Terry is disagreeing. That is the reason you tell your shareholders, but that is, and all of us, but that is not the real reason. The real reason is you guys need to step up your game and make better quality merchandise, and the pass holders will buy just like everybody else, and most of the time, much more. Would you agree, annual pass holders? Let me know okay? Let me know if you would, because I know you would. I know you would if you had better quality stuff to buy. Yeah. Yeah. Like in the 50th anniversary. 50th anniversary had so much cool stuff. People said, I'm worried about my paycheck when I go into the park because there's so many wonderful things to buy. And there really was. There really, really was some yummy stuff at the 50th. But the 60th, meh. Yeah, absolutely not. You might have found one or two things that were cool, but for the most part, bleh. Yeah. So that's my statement on that, Joseph, and thank you for mentioning it. Where do we find info about the September 11, 12th show and sale? Stephanie Fix, if you're still on here, you can give specifics. But what I will say is to type in Disney Anna Fan Club in the search engine of a Facebook page. They have a page, and their Facebook page will tell you, ask to join it. And then that way you'll get highlights about it. And then I, too, will be bringing you information as it becomes available to me. And then if you're in the tribe like you are, Michael Roman, you can just ask Stephanie because Stephanie knows, too. So there's a lot of us that will keep you posted well before. But it is going to be, Stephanie is the one who let me know, most honestly, that it was going to be a live event, which I was so excited it wasn't going to be virtual. That I'm excited it's going to be a live event. So she's the one who told me. I would have also found out about it in our Chalk Walk bingo, but they've been doing a lot of bingos on Sundays, and that's my family day. So I spend it with my family, and I can't play bingo on Sundays. So you won't see me on a Sunday unless my family has decided to do something else. Otherwise, it's just Saturday bingos that I'm there. So I'm going to be there tomorrow for the bingo game, and I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of information. So Monday, I'm not broadcasting, but on the Zoom call, I'll let you guys know if you're part of the tribe. And then Friday, I'll let you all know. Okay. All right. And then, of course, you can Google Disney Anna Fan Club. Not Google it, but in your Facebook page. If you're on Facebook, do that. They have a page and it's very informative. Right, Stephanie? So there you go, Michael. And we'd love to see you and your mom. Joseph says, sadly, it seems that Disney is more focused on making money than appeasing, appraising its fans. And that is and listen to what Joseph says, everybody. Nobody wants to feel this way. We don't want to feel this way, even if it's true, right? Disney should at least make us feel like it's about us, right? Create those experiences because you love us. So I think they're a little, the annual pass was created because Disney had dead days. And they knew if they created an annual pass holders would come, especially during those dead days. Maybe what they should do is there's always slower days. So maybe the weekends, if you want to include your weekend days, the pass is a little bit higher than if you go weekdays. If you have the freedom of doing weekdays, maybe you get a little bit of a break on the pass. Before the pandemic, they would give you a pass that allowed you to come on Sunday, but not on Saturday because Sundays were lighter. Or was it come on Saturday and not on Sunday because Saturdays were lighter? I forget. But I remember my pass was the one that eliminated the Christmas holiday because it always was so jam-packed on Christmas, and I really didn't want to go inside the park on Christmas. So if you came for Christmas, we would meet outside of the park or through the bars. In one case, I had a really good friend where she didn't want to leave the park because she was afraid she couldn't get back in. So we traded and exchanged our gifts through the bars off to the side. I stayed outside the gate and she was inside, like an inmate almost. Oh, I'm trapped at Disney. We traded our gifts and everything. It was fun. It was fun. I told her I loved her, and then we set up another day when she wasn't at Disneyland where we could actually sit down and enjoy each other's company. That's the way it worked, and I just did not do it during that time. And if I wanted to see somebody for a birthday, I have a very dear friend whose birthday is in that December window, so she did the pass that included that so she could go to Disney. But I made sure that I did not go during that time. Just it blocked it out, and it was great. Most of us in California don't go during that time. It was just too crazy. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure there's some caveats as it goes up. And honestly, between you and me, if I do get a pass, I'll want parking. It's the number one thing for me is parking. Has to have parking included. Because trying to think about parking and make sure I have the money for parking and what's the parking fee and all that. Yeah. So I liked having the one that included parking. That's just my thing. In California, parking is a high commodity. It's very high real estate. So when you can have it, it's very important. Yeah. So, yes, you're absolutely right, Joseph. And like I said, it's sad to make you feel that way, right? It's just sad. What's the most puppeteer performance that you've seen? One that made you tear up? Frank Oz. Yeah, Frank Oz, after the loss of Jim Henson, Fozzie spoke and got you right there. Yeah, that incident. And then I was also under the floor with Steve Whitmire when he was handed down. We were doing dinosaurs, and Jane Gutnick, who, if you know anything about Muppets and you know anything about Henson, you know that Jane is the person who drives. There's many people that are very, very instrumental in the building and the making of the puppets, but Jane is kind of the lady, right? And she yelled down underneath. We were underneath the floor taking a break during the switched at birth sequence for dinosaurs. That's where the two babies are there, and they talk about cleaving the babies in half and all of that. Anyway, Steve Whitmire was under the floor with me, and we were just sort of chatting. A lot of times, if they're setting a light or something, they'll ask the puppets to stand down but not leave. So we sat under the 4-foot floor and just waited until they said, okay, we're ready to go. And then we climbed back into the characters. So Jane called down and said that the Kermit the Frogs had arrived from New York, and did Steve want her to hand them down to him so he could try them on? Because, as you know, Steve was the hand-picked successor by Jim himself to carry on the mantle of Kermit the Frog. Now, of course, it's different. We won't go into that, but that's the way it was. And Steve said, yeah, I've got time. Bring the puppets down. And there was a box of these beautiful Kermit the Frogs. And Steve tried them on. And I said, what is that like, Steve? How, you know? And Steve says, it's so strange. And he said, here, try one on. And I remember I put it on and we looked at each other and we just got all choked up. We just couldn't. Luckily, we were under the floor, and Steve and I just got choked up. Did we weep? No, we didn't weep. We couldn't talk. We couldn't talk. Kermit was Jim Henson's, and now your hand is up inside. Even if your hand was up inside, and you were told by the man himself that you were the successor, Steve Whitmire, it was still so painful. And for me to put it up, and how generous was Steve Whitmire, to allow me to put my hand up in Kermit the Frog. Jim Henson's Kermit the Frog. And it felt so alien because I had not had the benefit of Jim looking to me in the face and saying, "Terry, you're the next Kermit the Frog." I felt like I was wearing someone else's underwear. It was not cool. I immediately took it off and said, "I can't do this." But those were the touching moments with puppets. And to watch Steve test him out and do the Kermit the Frog voice was so much. So much. So those are two sequences during that sequence where a lot of us as Muppeteers, after the death of Jim, it just, yeah. And the puppets emoted, that the performance that Frank did with Fozzie was just beyond belief. Just beyond, impromptu. Oh, just so good. So wonderful and so beautiful. But there's so many different sequences where people have done puppets where it actually works. I've done it myself. It made kids cry. Okay. So many of you know my cat, Allie Cat, and he talks to children about being bullied because of the way he looks. And you'll see kids in the audience just break up, and then you're trying not to break up because you're the one performing the character. So puppets are such a gift, such a blessing. And I'm proud to be a puppeteer. I'm so grateful that I've got to do it professionally. I'm so grateful. And I'm grateful that I got to work with rock stars, like the whole team of dinosaur people. They just are magical. Such magical people. And to be able to do the Trixie sequence with Tennessee, and to make people cry by the way we sang and showed the love from fur and latex and servos, because we're actors. We're just like actors, except for we act through these. So, or the whole body, and you do it as a team, and there's nothing like being a cohesive team. There's nothing like it. The joy, the synchrony. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I think there was another incident that I did when I was early in my career as a puppeteer. I did religious videos for a company called Concordia Publishing in St. Louis. And I did it with a team of my friends. You've heard of Alan Troutman, Bruce Lanoyle, both brilliant puppeteers. And a group of us went and did this. My mentor, Pat Breimer, was a part of it. And we did these amazing puppet characters that told Bible stories and talked about what it's like at the time, what it's like for a young girl to love Jesus and what it's like in the real world. And it was very, very cutting edge. And I was so happy to play the lead character, Nanny Feather, a scrapper, much like myself, who would get into fights because people would tease her about loving Jesus. A guy who wore a dress is one of the derogatory things I would say. And she'd just pummel him. No, Nanny, that's not the way you help people to understand Jesus. You don't beat them to a pulp. But she was a scrapper. She was a little homeless girl, and she'd lost everything. And she comes to realize that Jesus is someone who will take care of her and make her feel safe. There was a place called Stories of the Second Basement and Welcome the Stranger were the first two books. If I can find them, I'll show them to you. Created by an amazing puppeteer named Dave Pavlonis and Pat Breimer, who did a lot of the sculpting and creation of these puppets and was my mentor. But yeah, so we really pulled out the stops. It was more than just being a lot of the videos that I see that are religious, which are just a little too fluffy and not realistic. These were very real and very deep, helping people to understand, kids and people to understand, if you love Jesus, you don't have to hide it under a bushel. There's ways that you can show it in your daily life. And if you're teased, how do you handle it? And it was a great thing. And a lot of people cried and just wrote to us and said, "Oh my God, Nanny's amazing." Big fans of Nanny and Isaiah. Isaiah was played by Pat. And then characters like Beezer, who was Bruce Lanoyle. And it was just a great time. We did 13 or 14 episodes. And I had videotapes. If you don't know what that is, VHS tapes. If you don't know what that is, Google it. But my whole set went to Michael Jackson, because Michael Jackson was very curious about being Christian. And I said, "Would you like my puppet stories?" And I gave him my puppet stories. I gave him a set of my puppet stories, and he just loved them. He really, really adored them. And I think it brought us closer because he loved Nanny. He was a big fan of Nanny and Isaiah series. And it was great to have them, you know, to be able to give them to Michael Jackson when I was doing Captain EO. And he absolutely went crazy for them. So because they're real, they were very real. And so there's some possibilities. And you can see even now that I still feel it. Yeah. So, yep. Besides the making of money, intentionally or not, they are deciding the guests they want in their parks and those they don't. They are, aren't they? They want what? The Kardashians? The Kardashians have so much money. They could buy the park just about, right? So is that the kind of clientele they want? Kind of makes you go, what? Really? And as Leo said, I think it was Leo who said, you know, Walt, that's not what Walt wanted. You know, Walt wanted a place where all age groups could come together and find something to enjoy, from the tiny little child to the grandparents, that all could come together and find something to enjoy. And that's what makes Disney so powerfully and special. If you want to sit on a bench and people watch, it's beautiful. You'll see horse carriages go by, fire truck go by, you know, and you just sit under a tree having a Dole Whip or whatever. Or if you're older, you may love the Tiki Room, which doesn't require any whoops and bows. You just go in and see great birds and things sing to you. So if you're an older adult, no, there used to be the time when the older adults jitterbugged and square danced and did all this cool dancing in the pavilion, and right next to the Carnation ice cream, you could get yourself an ice cream and watch these people dance every Sunday night. And these older people would come and dance. It was beautiful. For the little kids, you had things like Peter Pan, Snow White. They could fly. They could ride carousel horses, the little kids. No height requirement. Fly Dumbo, you know. And then the kids in the middle, stuff that was cool for that. You know, Matterhorn. Yeah. Splash Mountain. Yeah. Yep, something for everybody. And that's what was so cool. For the medium kids, remember how fun it was just to pop over to Tom Sawyer Island and waste a whole day running around there? Man, that was awesome. And you couldn't believe, where did the time go? I remember as a teenager, one of my favorite places was running all through Tom Sawyer Island, and I could not believe how the time just disappeared. Something for everybody. And it was just beautiful. So I'd like to think that that is a motivation for them, but right now we're not feeling it, are we, Tracy? We're not. We're not, are we, Joseph? None of us. Yeah, and it's too bad. Fingers crossed. My brain does the same thing. Yes, indeed, Deanna. My husband says, lane change. Look out. Don't look now. Lane change. Exactly. That's me. I'm so excited you are getting together with your family. Thank you, Angie. I am too. But the thing that's going to be really funny is as we stand there, arms open, going, we're all vaccinated. And I encourage all of you to get vaccinated. I think enough time has passed that if you're nervous about vaccine, put it away. You're going to be fine. Okay, don't be nervous anymore. Enough people have passed through and are safe. Okay, enough have. Okay, there are those rare instances, as in anything, but it's time to get vaccinated because the new strain has come with the big guns, and apparently, if you're not vaccinated, it is a mean mofo. So please get vaccinated. As was said by a guy who didn't want to get vaccinated originally, said enough time has passed. I know I didn't want to. I did it now because let's face it, McDonald's is probably a place you could get vaccines and grab those fries while you're at it. Now, he was making a joke. McDonald's has not been supplying vaccines, but it's that accessible for us in the United States. And thank God it is, because in other countries, it's not. So exercise your right as an American. Celebrate your country by getting a vaccine, because I don't want to see you leave this earth until it's your time. You are a benefit here, and I want you to stay. So please, please, please consider getting a vaccine. All right. There's 3 to choose from. You choose which one. I had Moderna. I didn't have any effects except for sleepy. I was very sleepy the next day. And that could be because of the vaccine or the concern of all of this stuff you're reading in the news. You read pro con, you kind of get yourself worked up sometimes. It's kind of like when you're going to take a plane trip and everybody tells you about plane crashes. It's like, why do they do that? And then why do we listen? Right? So it's a lot of times it's just inner stress. I know that I was so relieved after my husband got his vaccine, and he's high risk. So he got his vaccine and I slept for 3 days. I didn't get the vaccine, but the minute he did, I was like, because of the stress I worried about him being high risk. So please, please, for me, get a vaccine. And for you too, because I want you to stick around. And this new strain apparently is not playing. It's not playing. It's coming for you, and I don't want it to get you. Okay? So, all right. I love you guys. Don't want to see any of you disappear. But thank you for the family thing. Yes. When we hug, our hearts connect, and we know that we are not separate beings. It's absolutely true, Connie. But Connie, I'm going to ask you as well. First time you got to hug your family, wasn't it weird? It was so weird. And my son had to say, I'm going to hug. He had to verbalize it because we sat down, we wore the masks through the restaurant, took the masks off because that's what we've been advised to do, even vaccinated, and visited at the table. But my son stood up and said, I want to hug. And I was like, oh my God, oh yeah. And then it was like, oh, this is so weird. My arms have not done this in a long. Hi, honey. And then you don't want to separate. You don't want to break. Because it's like you're home. So good for him, that brilliant son, for saying, I'm going to hug. Because we didn't think about it. Quite honest. So Connie, tell me about that. What was your first hug after the pandemic like? Hug on, exactly. I love you, Connie. Some places just can't make a banana split correctly. Michael, tell me about that. What is your vision of a banana split? This is a perfect example, Michael. Good for you, because I have heard this before. So let me put a couple of questions to you so you can answer this, because I think inquiring minds want to know, especially mine. Is it that they cut the banana and it's too green? Or they cut the banana, so not yet ripe. Or they cut the banana and it's too ripe? And then the flavors, are you a purist? Have to have the chocolate, the vanilla, and the strawberries. And then what if they mess it up by putting peanuts on top instead of almonds? Or do you like nuts on top at all? Let me know, since you have pointed this out. I'd love to. And then the whipped cream. Is the whipped cream Cool Whip or really whipped cream? That's another thing, because they taste different, don't they? What a good example. So my cousin, who was supposed to come over and get the cake, but he's going to do it later on. My cousin said he will not eat a banana if it's too ripe. So the minute it gets little speckly, he won't touch it. It's just too ripe for him. I am fine with it as long as it's not brown. If it turns out to be too brown, depending on the stage of brown, it becomes banana bread, doesn't it? But yeah, if that peel has any speckles on it, he just like backs up as if it's something, terrifying. He also won't eat watermelon or pumpkin. Yeah, he won't eat that. In this case, he's a black man, so I think in some cases, not the pumpkin pie, but the watermelon, it could have been from the past when he was being teased. I won't say for sure, but a lot of times, if a black guy doesn't like watermelon, it's because he's been ruthlessly teased as, they can just not like watermelon. I don't want to make a blanket statement here, But my cousin, I know it's from a previous thing that that involved watermelon, and he's just no, don't want to see it, don't want to experience it. No, 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 no. So yeah. So it's like trying to think if there's a food like that for me that I'm not interested in. Because of past. I don't think so, because food really wasn't the way that they bullied me. But in the case of my cousin, that was one of the things that he had challenges with when he was growing up, was being teased about that. So he doesn't like watermelon. I'm not so sure why he doesn't like pumpkin pie. He just thinks it's bleh, I guess. So talk to me, Michael, about that banana split. Paramount has regained the rights to the Twilight Zone, ? Or is it yes? And if they did, then this is what we're going to see. You know, what are they going to do for that movie? I just want it to be good, actually. Please be a good movie. Favorite restaurant at Disney World of Disney. So Jacob wants to know, in Disney World, what is my favorite restaurant in Disney World? I really don't have one. I'm sorry. Yeah, I really don't have one. But in Animal Kingdom, it's Yak and Yeti. I love Yak and Yeti. I love Yak and Yeti. Oh my gosh. I'll go to Animal Kingdom just to eat at Yak and Yeti. That's how much I love it. Oh my gosh, what a great restaurant. Fresh ingredients, a lot of raw fish. And the cocktails are delicious. I do partake. Not to the point of drunkenness, but I love a nice cocktail, and they got a great one there. I like sour in my cocktail, and they do a great sour cocktail. Oh, and then with the fresh fish, oh, and the little crunchy chips that they make by hand. Ah, my mouth. Shame on you, Jacob. But anyway, I love it. He took me there. It was a very hot day in January when I went to visit him, just before the pandemic lockdown. It was the one trip I got to take before the lockdown occurred. And he said, and we were going to go ride Pandora, because I had been trying for 4 years, just could not get on this blooming ride. And so John was sweet enough just to say, well, let's not go today because there's too many people. So we finally got on it, and I really enjoyed it. For one thing, it's the first ride of that type I didn't get motion sick. And I can only attribute that to the fact that when you straddle the dragon, you feel it breathing. And I really believed in my mind that I was flying a dragon. So I think that's why I didn't get motion sick, because I was on the back of the dragon actually flying. And it was incredible. So if you haven't ridden it, do ride it, but it is a bit of a wait. So we finally got on it. And before we went on it, well, not right before, we had to wait till very late. But for lunch, she said, let me take you to one of my favorite restaurants. And we'll sit at the bar, because that's one of the most fun places to do when there's just a couple of you. So we waited for the bar, and I got the seat. We got the seats, and we sat there. And the best people, cast member bartenders, the best, the sweetest, the kindest, the most fun. Giggling and laughing like crazy people. Excuse me. I better drink something else. Great. Giggling and laughing like crazy people. And just having the most fun ever at the Yak and Yeti. And the food was just incredible. And so that's my favorite restaurant. Here in Disney, I loved eating at that little marketplace, that outdoor marketplace for breakfast. That's my favorite breakfast place. I like the plaza if it's character visit. I always think the character visits are a lot of fun. I like to watch the children visit Minnie and Mickey and all that. I just love seeing their little faces light up. Food-wise, I usually would, breakfast is that marketplace. And then dinner-wise, I love, Club 33. I love Club 33. If somebody invites me there, I love eating there. Everything about them is beautiful. But Blue Bayou, I like Blue Bayou very, very much. And I also I think Blue Bayou is good. But favorite restaurants as far as Disneyland and California Adventure is over in California Adventure. Carthay Circle is off the chain. It is absolutely so delicious. And during the pandemic, they really have got it down. with their little finger foods that you can order as oh, just so good. I just thought this was brilliant what they did. For me, it was perfect because I don't eat very heavy. And so it's really great. And then that new one, what is it? The Lamplight Lounge. Holy cats, what a great place to eat. So personally, if I was at Disneyland and I had a 2-park park hopper, I'd go over to California Adventure to eat at that Lamplight Lounge. It's outdoors. It's wonderful. The food is, oh gosh, food. Wow. I am really happy that they brought that back, because when it was the Little Mermaid Grotto, the food was not good. And before that, I liked to eat there because it was Wolfgang Puck's restaurant. So I loved it then. I also loved when the wine event in California Adventures was Mondavi's, but Mondavi has left, and so it's okay, but it was really good when it was Mondavi. And then if you go outside, of course, there's always Trader Sam's. Let's just not stop, do not pass go. Trader Sam's is the most fun place. I don't even know if I eat there much. I'm too busy having fun with all my friends, talking tiki, hearing all about tiki stuff, looking at the latest tiki. Everybody's in a good mood. What a great place. Trader Sam's. And it's not even in Disneyland, or it's just what a great restaurant. Just love it. Just love it. And Steakhouse 50, if you want a nice, elegant place to kick back. So, Jacob, there are all my favorite restaurants. Very, very much. I'm sad to say one of the restaurants that I really found a bit disappointing was the Cantina. Just too loud. Just too loud. Too loud. And I'm not really good with my ears being assaulted. And so I liked seeing it, took lots of pictures, thought it was cool. I really thought they needed grubbier bartenders there, so it felt more like the Cantina Lounge on Tatooine. But I guess that might scare the kids, so maybe not. But I would have hired some more, scruffy types like they did in the Cantina sequence of Star Wars. I would have loved that. But noisy, noisy and loud, and of course expensive for what you get. So, I did and went there and loved, but there's just other places I'd rather eat. Yep. The Bengal barbecue is great, especially now during the pandemic, because they actually have your food waiting and then they cook it right there and then give it to you. So I wouldn't say how fresh it is, but at least it's not sitting under a heat lamp and being given to you. You just don't know how long it's been under that heat lamp. So during the pandemic, as they now are able to cook more foods, hopefully they'll get back to that lovely chicken from the plaza and things that you like. But yeah, those are my go-tos. Yep, those are the ones I like. Thank you for asking that question, Jacob. Grim Greeny Tracy, per topic, from experience prior to last year and for the future, is it truly the people, YouTube and online communities like you all are priceless? Oh, thank you. Many daily park live streams are incredible. Well, many of us stepped up to the plate. I wanted to. Many of you requested that for the pandemic, and I love listening to you, honestly. And you're guiding me. This is an entity, as Tracy says. This venue here is alien to me. I am an in-person, handshake and hugging girl. That's where I shine, is being in person. Because when I was born and up until very late, there was no such thing as a computer that you could put in a phone. My phone was a murder weapon, and all it did was make a call. But now they do so much more. And Zoom, wow, to be able to talk to people in Italy, in India, in UK, simply by doing this, blows me away. So when you all asked me, because of the pandemic, that you were missing Disney, could I go longer in my Ask Me Anythings and in my broadcasts? I did. Now we're honing it down as we get back into the swing of things, because it is time for us to go out and experience the world again. Carefully, with great, not fearful, but wise and thoughtful. And if you haven't driven for a while, please sit in that giant 2,000-pound vehicle and say to yourself, I am now behind the wheel. Let me be aware that I am behind the wheel. Let me look extra because I haven't driven in a while. Let's make sure there's nobody behind me. There's nobody near me. I really am careful because there are crazy people out there. Let me give a little more distance from that back bumper of that car as we all get back into our sync. Because that way you stay safe. And that's what I do. That's what I want, is you to stay safe. So just give me a minute here. I have to make sure that my cousin isn't perfect. Great. Beautiful. But yeah, so that's what I have to do it, because I haven't driven. You know, I just put gas in my car for my birthday getaway because I drove. Okay, I did the driving, and I put gas in the car for that. And the last time I did, the gas was $2.49. When I went to refill it, it was $3.85, and that's because I went to Costco. So, but the going rate here in California is about $4.25. So it's like, whoa, baby. Wow, what happened? But it just goes to show you how long my car has sat as opposed to drive. Yeah, it looked like it was abandoned on my driveway because I didn't wash it. I didn't, I would wash it occasionally, but for the most part, I wasn't going to a car wash where people didn't wear masks. Wasn't going to do that. Wasn't going to be in places where they didn't during the pandemic when things started to open and they should have been wearing masks. They weren't. So just be thoughtful and protect yourself. We've worn a mask for this long. When in doubt, wear a mask is what I say. Yeah, and get vaccinated. Absolutely. So thank you for saying that, Tracy. And that's what I wanted to do. And you have given me the same joy. You can remember, if you guys have been with me a long time, I've had some meltdowns, and sometimes right in front of you as I try to talk and keep it together, and then I don't, right? So you've helped me too. Don't think it's all about me helping you. You've helped me too, and I thank you for it. Thank you, Tracy. I love how Disney, says Jacob, is inclusive to everyone. Like me, I'm in a wheelchair, never had to get out of my chair for the rides, and I love that. Actually, Jacob, you being in a wheelchair brings up something extremely special. I was with a group where someone was in a wheelchair, had trouble walking or some sort of challenge. And to see how Disney is taking care of you guys was quite exciting. That was really cool. Like, for example, when I went early, Jacob, before the 30th, when Disney opened to, was starting to open to 25% capacity. I went to a cast member opening with some cast members. And one of the gentlemen there is either in a wheelchair or on a scooter. Yeah. And so we went to Haunted Mansion, and I've always wanted to go up the elevator. This is something probably, Jacob, you do all the time. But I wanted to do that. But because I was not in a wheelchair and did not have a handicap of any, I didn't get to do that. But my friend was in a wheelchair, and I offered to push him. And I pushed him around, had pushed him up hills and things like that, because the other two just were happy that I was doing it and not them. And we went on Haunted Mansion. He really wanted to go on Haunted Mansion, and we sat together. And then for the first time, I actually got my bucket list thing, which was to go up the down elevator. That was so amazing. And here is something you guys get to do every day. And I think you are absolutely right. That is true. Disney does take good care of y'all. But everyone is special, right? And it wouldn't be fair. Disneyland works very hard because they were built before, ADA, before the things had to be shifted. I mean, California Adventure has got a lot of cool stuff for you guys, right? But very challenging for Disney because they couldn't tear the whole park down and make it accessible. So they do the very best they can. And I'm really glad to hear you say that that's what they do, because I thought that too. If I recall correctly, 2 of your favorite reality competition shows are Making It. Yep. Lego Masters. Why do you like them? Which show do you think you'd be better as a contestant? 0. But as a judge, excellent. Yeah. you know that I judge the outrageous pumpkin competitions I have for some time, and hopefully we'll do it again soon. But the fact of the matter is that when I saw making it, I wanted to be the host of that show, and I wanted to be a judge on that show. I'm really not interested in being a contestant on any competition show. I want to be a judge. Yeah. And how do you get to be a judge? I asked. I want to be a judge. I do. I do. If I were younger, honestly, Leo, if I were in my 20s, I'd jump on these competition shows like that. But because I'm in my 60s, not that I move any slower, it's just not that important to me anymore. I would much rather be a judge and help someone else achieve that goal through, one of the things I can guarantee is if I'm a judge, it's fair. Not that if another person is a judge, it's not fair. But there are times, and I won't be specific, where I've had to go head to head with some of the other judges in past outrageous, and I would not back down because of certain rules. Because you know that if you watch a show and the rules are bent, you're really dissatisfied. Well, wait, in the rules it said you couldn't do XYZ. And then all of a sudden someone does XYZ and they win. We've had that situation in many contests, let alone on TV. So that's one of the things is I am really about making sure rules are met. Things are met. And sometimes the choices are because there's three of us and, I can't bulldoze or bully I have 1/3 of the votes, but I will be heard. I don't not speak. So that's one of the things I think is important as a judge is that you go in, you do the job and you do it well. And I'm happy to say on Outrageous Pumpkins that we come in ready to do it well, but it can be a challenge. It can be challenging. Yeah, it can be challenging, but that's what I'd be. Any kind of show like that, the host or a judge is where I want to be to do the show. Yes, I'd love to have my own show. Let me just put it out there. What would my own show be? I'm not sure, but I'd love to be the host of it. Yeah, I'd love to host a show like that. Contest show or a show that inspires you. I want nothing to do with those ones that just people hate on each other and snarl at each other and are creepy with each other. Yeah, not into that. I'm too old for that. But I'd love to do something that makes people feel good and makes people want to try and test and move forward. Yeah, which is one of the reasons on my Patreon page, I share what I'm going through. I'm taking 2 classes right now to improve my ability as an artist in other venues that I felt would be fun to explore. And if you're a part of the tribe, you get the opportunity to see the results of that. I speak about it. I show you some of the differences and stuff. Eventually, I will start to show my process. But right now, there's one class that is a little taxing and a little exhausting. So I'm lucky to just get through it, let alone film it. But I'll get better at it. I'll get better at recording it so that you guys can see this on the Patreon page. But it's going to take some time because this is an enigma to me. And I just work to get it done. You don't want to avoid it. As an older person, you don't want to say, I don't do text. Because it kind of makes you a dinosaur, doesn't it? I don't want to be on any social media. That's cool if you can do it or you're not an entrepreneur like I am. I need social media and I want to not only be able to offer you sculptures and one-of-a-kinds and things that I do, but I also want to benefit you without asking you to buy anything, which is this, here, this, now. I'm not charging you. It's my time, very valuable, but I want to give as well as receive. I don't think anyone should take. I want to give as well as receive. So this is what I love. And when I'm talking to you about things that I have, it's because if you want it, you've asked for it. If you want it, here's where you can go get it. No arm twisting, but if you want it, there it is. And many of you jump over there and grab it, or you join the tribe because you want to. And that helps me very much. I'm really about the quality of people where this helps. If it's not for you, don't feel bad. Just find someone who it is for you. Okay? I get it. Believe me. There are things that are not for me. Okay? I will be full disclosure on that. Yeah, but I will always tell the truth. Jacob, August 9th. Happy birthday early. Yay. Is that Leo or the next one? Next one is what? Libra? Someone tells me that the astrology signs are bogus, but they are fun, aren't they? Aren't they fun to see if some of the woo-woo that they tell you about kind of fits? Yeah. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, which we call that, but I like that. I think that's fun. Janet Joyce says, Janet Joyce says, I agree, Terry. If the products look cheap, we don't buy. And Janet, word, okay? Janet is someone who loves Disney stuff if it's done well. And she will pick it up if it's done well. But if it's like she says, if it looks cheap, why do you want it on your shelf? And here's the thing that many people during the pandemic who collect came to the realization about themselves. And I quote, I'm no longer going to collect tchotchke. I want to collect art. And they have stopped getting the trinkets and the gizmos and the gewgaws. They're looking for real art. And I'm happy to say, in many cases, it's buying my work. And I thank you for that. To be thought of as being true art, something that I do for you to have, to hand down to your family members or to sell later, and they appreciate, that's what my goal is, to do something that you're truly going to be excited about. And the hitchhiking ghosts, even though they are giving me so many challenges, when a person gets them in the mail, and Janet, I'm sure you can agree with this, you just say photos do not do them justice. They are so much better. That's because when I'm sculpting these characters, I have you in mind every single time. And a lot of times I ask you, especially on my Patreon page, especially the tribe, I ask to get your feedback on how things are looking as I develop them. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. I think I've mentioned this. I didn't really know much about Oswald except for except for the Diana Waller, who really brought Oswald. I knew Oswald existed, and I knew he was special to Walt, and I knew he was no longer with Walt, but I had no idea there was a battle to get him back. Okay, I can't know everything, but Diana filled me in. And she, with love, as she clasped her hands together, I can still see her, and her smile, she would say, Oswald is about never giving up, and that's why I collect him, because there are times. And so I look at Oswald and I know never to give up. And I thought, Diana, you just sold him. I got to make him. But unfortunately, we lost Diana Waller way too soon. And the minute she passed away, I was devastated, as was many of us, because that woman could light up a room just by walking into it. Those of you who know Diana know that's exactly what she was about. She walked into a room and the lights went on. And all of a sudden you'd say, I swear the lights were on, but now they're brighter. That was Diana. She was always a sparkle. She was always just a firework. And I miss her. But in honor of her, I started Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. And I asked Oswaldians like you to help me with that Oswald. And thank goodness you did, because in honor of Diana, I built him, I created him, and I sold him completely out. And the reason I did was because he spoke to you. He was something that touched your heart. And the reason it touched your heart was not because I'm such a genius sculptor and hit. I am. But I had help. I had help, and the help I had was from all of you, the Oswaldians, who met with me met with me in person at Trader Sam's often, would talk to me online, would message me, would advise me, would basically share with me all the joys and excitement of Oswald. And I gotta thank you. I know I've said it, but I need to say it again. Thank you. Because here is the little Oswald character So you can see him. He's a little bit in shadow. But there he is right there. And the title of him, thanks to you guys, is If One Rabbit's Foot is Lucky, Two Are Even Better. So that's him. And I'll see if I have the whole presentation that I did with him. Here's another picture of him, lighter background, so you can see. There he is. And so that's pretty cool. Very, very cool of Oswald. So Oswald became a success because I was a smart girl, smart sculptor, and didn't try to do it all myself, like Disney's trying to do. I mean, if Disney would just ask you guys, it's a no-brainer. You will say what you want to collect, they build it, and then boom. Ta-da! But is the big question, right? So just like I said, and I'm just looking to see if I have any others in here, but it doesn't look like I do. But that's how it happens. The same with the ghosts. The same with the ghosts. I got with all of you, many of you, and you helped me with the ghosts. I had to find out because I noticed that Gus for Ezra, for example, had spats and had slippers. Was so confused by slippers versus spats. But many of you came to me and said, hey, now the slippers are at Disneyland. Let's keep it to Disneyland. And I said, sure. Then I asked you about the cape, and that too was a shirt. So it's all about you guys. And Janet is a key person there. Linda Rolls. There's no, I just talked to Sharon and she said, yes, Linda, is that changed? Because she told me, what was it, yesterday? That there was. I'm going to text her right now. I'm going to ask her again because she told me maybe she changed her mind again. See, forgive me for texting, but I want to find out. Because she just told me there was. So maybe she changed her mind because you all are getting all ready for the 4th. I'm throwing you under the bus, Linda. No, I'm not. Let me just see. Because she told me, well, I'm not going to argue, but yeah. Forgive me for making you sit and watch me type to ask this question. But if I don't ask it now, I'm going to forget. So, and we should find this out for you guys if you are doing the bingo for it. But she just told me yesterday that there was. So, or maybe it was Wednesday. Days blend together like watercolors. Anyway, we'll find out. I hope so, because I miss you guys. Linda, now that I have you, we need to talk about the Disneyland Fan Club show and sale, because Stephanie told me it's live and in person. So I'd like to talk to you about that if you get a minute. Thank you. And then we'll tell everybody here, because they're all curious about it too. Hungry. Janet says, APs buy more. They are there much more than regular ticket holders. Tickets once or twice a year. APs to once a month or more. Correct, Janet. Absolutely. But if the stuff isn't good, why would you buy? Right? And also, I know you all eat. So I know this is that statement is bogus. Okay. You know it and I know it. So that's why, to tell the truth, being truthful, right here, he said it for, political reasons. Yep. Jacob says, are you a visual person? I am. Exactly, which is why I show you the stuff whenever I can. If I can show you an image of it, it's so much nicer, right? I can talk about Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, but isn't it much more fun to see Oswald the Lucky Rabbit? Yeah, it is. It's really, really fun just to get a glimpse of that. Wow, what's that? Oh, okay. I saw a picture out of the corner of my eye. I didn't know what it was. But exactly, Jacob. So I'm very visual. In fact, it drives my husband crazy how visual I am. Shelby says, I would like for the Tower of Terror movie to be like an anthology film. Different stories, but in the same hotel. Kind of like 4 Rooms or Pulp Fiction. Yeah, well, that could be fun. I like that. I like that idea. That could be fun. Anthologies are cool. The first anthology that I come along that I really like was Vault of Horror, which turned out to be renamed later as Tales of the Crypt 2 or something like that. But it's about, it's an anthology, and it's about 4 men who meet at a round table and tell stories about their lives. And it's very creepy and scary. And one is about an artist who, whatever he does comes into reality, and is played by Tom Baker. It's really cool. It's an older movie, I think 70s. But if you haven't seen it and you're okay with scary stuff, well, it's not. I don't think. Well, it is kind of creepy. But that's one of my favorite stories of all time, is the artist who his work becomes real. What he draws becomes real. And oh, it's cool. You may have seen it. There was later one that was kind of used that as kind of, I think they used it as a basis anyway, of a little boy who talked about a monster. And when he drew it and crumpled it up, the monster died, and the monster was a human being that was bullying and torturing him. Yeah, sweet little kid. It was cool too. So he gets the strength, and I don't want to tell you the whole thing, but I think it was a Tales from the Crypt also. But both were very cool stories, and but creepy. Yeah, I like stuff like that. And being an artist, it really sort of resonates, you know. If everything you drew was real, you'd have to be careful, especially since I draw dragons all the time. My shop would be very crowded. So if everything you drew was real, you'd have to be careful about what you drew or what you sculpted, wouldn't you? All of a sudden, the ghost would be here. Eee! So that's why I think I like those stories. Anthologies is a great idea. Have you seen Defunctland's 6-part video on Jim Henson's life and projects? It's up on YouTube. If you want to see it, part 6 will make you tear up. Of course it will, Shelby. Of course it will. Yeah. Did you hear about Jim Henson's funeral and how everyone was given a butterfly on a wire, and we just flew them up in the air? Hundreds of butterflies in the church, or the location, basically. Oh man, it was cool. It was so cool. I'll check that out. Thank you for sharing that. I may have seen it, but I have the blessing of forgetting things. Like if I saw a movie, like, okay, for example, like, let me take an older movie. Let's take Indiana Jones. Okay, the very first Indiana Jones. I remember in Indiana Jones, snakes, I hate snakes. The idol bit. And I remember the reaction to the knife guy. Okay? And the and the burn. But that's all I remember of the movie. So if I watch it again, the blanks will get filled in, and it'll be just like watching it for the first time, you know? I also remember her going, Indy, but that's about it. So I have the blessing. If the movie has gone away for quite some time, I don't remember all the details. I have to have seen it a lot. So I can pretty much remember all the details in Star Wars. I saw it 183 times, plus whatever I've seen now. So I remember that pretty good, pretty well. There's a few things that have disappeared. And so I can enjoy it again as if I hadn't seen it in a while. And I love that. In fact, not too long ago, my husband decided to put on the DVD of Time After Time with Malcolm McDowell and David Warner. And I had forgotten a lot of it. I had a few little things. Mary Steenburgen. Such a great film, so much fun. I remember him opening the desk and taking out his glasses at the museum exhibit. It's just marvelous. But it was so great to watch it again because I had forgotten a lot of it, and it was wonderful. So why am I saying this? Because even if I did see this Defunctland 6-part, I probably forgot a lot of it. So I would love to see it. And I know I'll tear up probably through the entire thing. Shelby, nice of you to save me and let me know that the 6th, I definitely will. But when it comes to Jim Henson, watching Jim and seeing him, I mean, now that Disney Plus is showing the Muppets, I watch it in small increments because anytime Jim's stuff comes on, I'm so honored to have gotten to meet him and know him. I'm so honored. I'm so honored. So honored. Yeah. Many puppeteers have not had the pleasure, and many puppeteers had the pleasure, like Steve Whitmire and Dave Goles, and so on and so forth, of knowing Jim from like A to Z almost. Frank Oz, A to Z. Me, I was closer to Z, but at least I had a couple of years with him, and I'm so grateful. So yeah, a genius and a sweetheart, and like a big kid, just playful and fun and wonderful. So thank you for that. Thank you. Shelby, thank you. I'll check it out. I know what a VHS. Grew up with them, says Jacob. In the early 2000s, last generation to use them, still use them today. They are making quite a comeback. I hope so, because I have a set of VHS. I hope I still have a set. I may have gotten rid of them. Of Uncle Matty. Y'all know Uncle Matty? He used to be on TV training your dogs. Uncle Matty helped me train one of the toughest dogs I've ever trained, which was my little Tilly, because she was a different breed than I was used to. Tilly was a bulldog, and bulldogs bite down. When they bite, they commit. And when she was a puppy, she bit and commit, and I thought I was being chewed up by piranha. But Uncle Matty helped me work with her, as did a friend of mine who was in the Marine Corps, who trained the bulldogs for Marine Corps. But it was a challenge, and often I came bloody. So Uncle Matty, but my point is that all of his stuff is on VHS, because it's been that long that I have had them. They were no DVDs or CDs. They were just VHS. So if it's coming back, Jacob, I'm excited, because I would love to be able to play my Uncle Matty VHS. So I'm glad you know what they are, and I'm glad they're coming back. Like vinyl, right? Which we called them LPs, long playing records, and now they're called vinyl. And the one thing I loved about vinyl LPs was that there was a place for all the art to go. Pictures of the band, cool things. Like I remember, what was it? Grand Funk Railroad, and they did this is going way back. They did a wonderful album that was 3D, and you got the glasses on the inside cover, and you could see the 3D front of it, and then you could see open it up and see it was just the coolest album ever. And that's one I remember very strongly. And then Yes, the group Yes, which was another popular one I liked, always had a cool cover. Always had a really cool cover. So I like this is nice. When you download them on a podcast, you only get the cover art, but now you can actually have the big art again. And I think that's really super neat. So I hope they do. Thank you for saying they're making a comeback. I'll look forward to that. It was weird when the owner of Crepe Expectations reached out to shake our hands. There you go. There you are. Yeah, there you are. So yeah, Okay, all righty. A few more questions, and then I should let you guys go, and then take a look at these and answer some later. But I know you guys have got stuff to do. For the banana split, it has to have chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry ice cream with chocolate, pineapple, and strawberry toppings. You heard it here first, folks. Yep. There you go. And thank you for participating in that. In Disneyland, it's so fun to eat at the Blue Bayou. It is. It's lovely. They used to have it so dark, though. It was kind of nice if you could see the food. And now they're adding alcohol, which could be a good thing. I was fine with what they had, but and I told you before, I do partake. So, did you hear Steakhouse is closing permanently? How sad! It was the best restaurant on the property. I did not hear that, Michael, and I am sad as well. In Southern California, there's a restaurant that I absolutely in Anaheim. I always ate breakfast at Tiffy's. Tiffy's on Catella and West, and it's gone. Yeah, if you had breakfast at Tiffy's, I loved Tiffy's. The ice cream at Tiffy's, the breakfast at Tiffy's. I have memories of getting together with a lot of you at Tiffy's and Tiffy's is gone. Tiffy's became a victim of the pandemic, and I am really sad to hear that they're gone because they were my go-to restaurant for years. I knew every server there, the manager there. It was just a joy to come in and be there. I could eat there alone. Oh, just sitting. Oh, so as sad as I am for Steakhouse 55, heartbreaker, Tiffy's is another one. And I hope if you ate there that I'm not bringing a sad news to you as well. I saw that too. Very sad. It's a great restaurant. Yes. And thank you, both of you, for letting me know, because that is a heartbreaker. I hope that my friend Michelle from London knows that, because she was always eating there. Flight of Passage was so fun to ride the Banshees. Yes, Kelly, it was. And most of those kind of rides I can't ride in a simulator because I get sick. I'm very motion sick. I can't play video games because of the same reason. So to be on a Banshee that was breathing, I think that's what did it. My brain believed I was flying a dragon and nothing. And I had eaten before I went. So that was really special. I really enjoyed that. Thank you. Thank you. Did you watch the special on Wolfgang Puck on Disney Plus? It's pretty good. Yes. I watch Wolfgang all the time. I was first introduced to Wolfgang Puck on, oddly enough, QVC. I learned how to make a reduced wine, the sweet wine you put over lamb. So you mix it with the Grand Marnier and a little of the cream, heavy cream, half and half, something like that. I have to look at my recipe. And Wolfgang would do it 3 times on QVC because he was selling pots and pans. So I could watch it the first time, then get the ingredients, second time, watch it on QVC. I'd set my DVR, and then I would record it, and then he would train me. That's how I met him, and I just love him. Just absolutely. He would yell at people. He would yell at the cameraman. "You cameraman, why are you over there sitting eating the food? You are shooting the food. Come over and shoot the food. What is this?" And I just love that. I mean, chefs are like that, aren't they? So yes, I'm a big fan of his. Big fan of his. I'm a fan of a lot of chefs because of Top Chef on Bravo. I watched that, and for a while I went to eat at the contestants' restaurants. I have to find out, because around a corner from here, one of them had a restaurant. It was average. But what really rocks, if you want to do it, is to go to the judges' restaurants. And I've done that an awful lot. And those are, woo, especially Anyway, Wiley's restaurant. WD, yeah, Wiley Dufresne, WD-50. He's a gastronomist, which means he uses nitrogen and really cool things like that. That restaurant is gone now, but was looking to open it again. I don't know if he's opened it again because pandemic, all that stuff. But I loved eating at his restaurant. It blew me away. Dessert was a perfect peach, fuzz, everything. You tapped it with your spoon and it shattered like a Christmas ornament, and there was sorbet inside. Love these masters. And then, yeah, just love. Yeah, really worth it. Go, so I love chefs. I love chefs. Rick Bayless in Chicago, we actually met him there and ate his food, and I don't eat Mexican food, but I went because I wanted to try some of his food, and also I wanted to meet him, and I got to meet him on that day. A longer story, but oof, great. So, yeah. What do I think about Kermit's voice? Which one, Jacob? There's more than one person doing Kermit now because of Disney. Disney doesn't leave them to one person anymore, with the exception of Dave Goelz. And Dave Goelz's character for Gonzo is quite unique, isn't it? So, yeah, no. Yeah, which one? There's lots of people out there that do Kermit really well. And when the Muppets became Disney property, the first thing Disney did was duplicate. So there are several voices for several characters across the whole board. That's the way Disney works, okay? Good, bad, you could say if one is sick, there's a Florida voice, there's a live voice, there's a video voice, there's a, okay? But what would Jim say? I don't know. He was very careful on who he chose to follow in his footsteps, and that was Steve Whitmire. So you be the judge, But Disney works that way. They do several people that can do the voice. I, as a puppeteer, never worked to duplicate any character. Oh, I'll imitate them for sure, really, because Janice was one of my favorite. But waka waka. But I'm not close. I'm just doing it for the love of the character. I'll always think Frank Oz is Fozzie Bear. That's just the way it is. But that's me. You know, things got to move forward, and with Disney, this is how they move forward. So they're all right, you know. But let's face it, the best Kermit the Frog voice is Jim Henson, and now I can watch it on Disney Plus during the Muppet Show. Wow! So thank you, Disney Plus. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have you ever rode the Snow White ride, the original version? Yes, over and over and over again. One of my favorites, as well as Flying Peter Pan's ship, and I love Fantasyland in there. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, over and over and over and over again. Yep. A friend of mine got to meet both Steve Whitmire and Matt Vogel. He says they're both pretty people, pretty nice people to talk to. They are. As is Peter Lentz, another name in that group. Noel McNeil, all wonderful. I mean, there isn't, you know, I don't think there's anyone of the Muppet group that's going to be rude to you. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that's what they do. You know, can you name anyone that was rude to you that's in the Muppet group? I don't think so. Maybe they exist, but when it comes to you, the fans, they love you guys. Every single one of them. Yeah. So they're not going to be rude to you. So don't be afraid of them. Go up and say hello, because they're happy to talk to you. When my husband and I go places, he always drives my car. Well, there you go. My husband will take a turn at the wheel, so he'll drive my car. But it's so different from his car that it takes a little getting used to for him. For one thing, I have a Mustang, and it's got a lot of get up and go. Even though I drive like a grandma with it, it still has a lot of get up and go. And it's a lower car. I had a Jeep forever, loved being high, but I've always wanted a Mustang, and I love my Mustang. I don't want to part from my Mustang. I hope my Mustang goes 100,000 miles. I love that. I'm really a big fan of this car. Oh, I just love this car. It's a convertible, so just love it. So my husband will drive it, but a lot of times the way it works is his night vision isn't as good as it used to be, so I drive at night. And one time we were coming back from my birthday, and I was so happy that he drove. On my birthday, he drove as like a gift to me. And so at night, I automatically climbed into the passenger side, and we're driving, and he's having trouble seeing. So I felt bad. I was like, oh, we shouldn't have done it, but we only had a mile to go. We didn't have a long way to go, but it was a little challenging for him. And so sometimes I forget, because I usually drive, I'd say 90% of the time. And that's because both of us are not big fans of driving. We like being the one that looks at stuff. So yeah, a lot of times I'm the one that's doing the driving, but he will drive, and I'm fine doing the driving because I got my Mustang. So what's not to love about getting in that car, right, Deanna? So good for your husband. I'm glad he does drive your car. Lindsay will drive mine too. He usually drives me home from where we were. He did that. He drove me all the way home from the thing, and it was great, so I could see the ocean as we drove home. It's 5 months until Christmas 2021. Can you believe it? And will it be wonderful? Yes, it will. I'm just going to say, yes, it will. Yes, August 9th is Leo. That is my birthday. Well, congratulations. Leo's in the house. My sister's Leo too. Leo the Lion. A nice one to be. Show name Talking with Terry. There you go, LOL. Just kidding. There I go. Thank you. Talking with Terry. And then she just you tried to stump me or something. Yeah. The show will come. I know it's in the future. I just don't know what it is. But I just keep speaking it, and that's what you should do. I want a show, and I want to meet Clint Eastwood. I just keep saying it. It'll happen. And then believe it. And then let it go. Let it go. And that's the way it works. I still have an old suitcase full of Betamax tapes. Oh, Tracy, that's awesome. You should show them. You don't have to show them on my channel. But if you post on Facebook, that would be a really great picture of, what are these? Throwback Thursday. I think that's actually a thing. That'd be great for Throwback Thursday. Diana was an amazing person, Janet. And always my little, I mean, yeah. We were torchlighters. We were the ones that lit, I mean, we walk into a room and it lights up. She walked into a room and it was just, yep. Linda Rolls is correct. No bingo this weekend. So things have changed. And boo-hoo for me, because I was looking forward to seeing everybody. And then the weekend after that, it's Sunday, so I won't get to do that too. So Linda Rolls, if you're still on, I would love to talk to you more about the Disneyland fan club thing so I can let everybody know. Yes, it is Leo. Yes, congratulations. Everyone have a safe and fun. And as we wind down, everyone have a safe and fun. We are doing it just over 2 hours. Congratulations. It's usually over 3 hours. You guys rock, allowing me to say that. To hug again, it's as though I'd been deep underwater and was breathing air for the first time, breathing in life. Absolutely, Connie. I couldn't have said it better myself. You are absolutely correct. And it's hard to detach, isn't it? Once you're there, it's hard to let go. It's just such a familiar, wonderful place. So I think we're going to be hugging for a long time. And I love you guys. I guess I'm weird. I love the big covers from vinyl, but I like better sound quality. Well, of course, that's not weird, Paul. And hello, Paul. That's not weird at all. I mean, CDs came about because the sound quality, right? But I tend to like the popping as the red sails on the sunset. I just love that stuff. Oh my gosh, I love it. So, but that's what I grew up with. Okay. Yeah. CDs are nice, but and I like that I can play them in my car. Okay. Let's get real. Vinyl would be hard to play in your car, right? But the art of vinyl is beautiful and the sound quality of the CDs is choice. And then if you download, the convenience of downloading is wonderful because it's on a thing about this big and you're running, hard, remember when you tried to run with a CD player and it would go, so it's great with the little MP3 players. They can be tiny and it's just wonderful. So it's all good. It's all good, man. Thank you, Paul. Good to see you. Have a safe and wonderful 4th of July. I say the same. Have a safe and wonderful 4th of July. We are at 2 hours and 17 minutes. We have done a great job. I love you guys. Again, no broadcasts on Monday. I'm going to be, as Connie says, hugging my family. So I love you. Hugs, kisses. See you soon. And we'll see you again next Friday, a week from today. Okay? So do something nice for others. It'll make you feel so much better. You've done that for me today. I love you. Terry Hardin, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer, signing off. Happy 4th of July.